Now at 4, a man dies after being bitten by a snake during a church service in southeastern Kentucky. We'll have new information about the victim.
Steam and storms across central and eastern Kentucky were firing up Defender to attract some big-time boomers just ahead.
New developments today in a dog attack that seriously injured a central Kentucky woman. Find out what's happened to the owner of the dogs.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 4.
Good afternoon. I'm Jennifer Palumbo. It's another stormy and steamy day. Some places are seeing heavy rain and lightning right now. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey shows us what's on the first alert Defender. Chris?
Yeah, a lot of showers and thunderstorms dotting our skyline this afternoon, Jennifer, and with all the humidity in the air, those storms that are cranking up, putting down some very heavy rains. Let's get into it and show you what is being picked up on by Defender. And you see a big concentration of lightning now across parts of south central Kentucky. We've had some of these storms that have been cranking across parts of the Lexington metro. Let's start you out in the south, though, between London and the Barberville area, just to the east of Corbin. Now some cells trying to pop up here into parts of Whitley County. Boy, oh boy, it is raining to beat the proverbial band. Ton of thunder and lightning coming from these storms that extend a little farther to the north now between Manchester and the London area, right on top of Bush. Another complex of thunderstorms from Mount Vernon through McKee toward the Boonville area of Owsley County, and that's where the greatest concentration of lightning is currently showing up. A little farther to the north, scattered thunderstorms from Moorhead down toward West Liberty, Campton, into the Mount Sterling area. Look at the Lexington metro. We've had some heavy rain producing storms. Let's show you where strongest storm is now located right on top of the Richmond area and just to the north of Lake Reba. Folks down here seeing a lot of thunder and lightning. Lexington metro, additional showers and storms are now beginning to crank. Got this storm just to the east of Midway. That'll work its way on top of Masterson Station into the downtown Lexington area coming up very shortly. Jennifer, threatening skies across the region. Any storm that continues to crank up will have a ton of lightning and heavy rain. We will track additional rounds when I come back in about 15 minutes.
Thank you, Chris. New at 4, Danville police have arrested the owner of a pack of dogs that attacked a Lincoln County woman yesterday. Danville police arrested Chris Pope this afternoon. He's charged with harboring a vicious animal. More charges could be filed. Police say the dogs attacked Loretta Stevens yesterday morning outside her home. 6 of the 7 dogs were caught. The 7th was shot and killed. We'll have more on Loretta Stevens' recovery coming up on WKYT News at 6. Investigators say a man has died after a snake bit him during a church service Sunday. The Bell County Sheriff's Office says 60-year-old John David Brock of Stony Fork was handling a snake at Mossy Simpson Pentecostal Church in the Jensen community when the snake bit him on the arm. WKYT's Phil Pendleton is in Bell County with the latest. It's our top story at 4.
The victim of the snake bite is 60-year-old John David Brock of the Stony Fork community. That is where I am now. However, the church where this happened is actually several miles from here in the Jensen community. The sheriff says Brock was bitten during the service and refused medical treatment. He later died at his brother's house and was pronounced dead there. The coroner was called but says he's not sure if the snake bite actually caused his death, saying Brock did have other health issues. Now, the sheriff's office does have a death investigation, but the coroner says there will not be an autopsy. We did try to speak to several members of the church, but they told us they did not want to comment. We're going to have a lot more coming up at 5 and 6 o'clock on how this community feels about all this. But for now, in Bell County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Arnett and Steele Funeral Home in Pineville is handling funeral arrangements. Our reporters are working on a number of other stories for WKYT starting at 4:30. Sam Dick joins us from the newsroom with a look at some of the news in progress. Good afternoon, Sam.
Good afternoon, Jennifer. A detective says a man killed by a West Virginia woman who said he attacked her after they met through an online website had encounters with police in as many as 20 states. West Virginia authorities are trying to spread information to see if 45-year-old Neil Falls can be linked to unsolved deaths and disappearances in other areas. Lexington Police spokeswoman Sergeant Ann Welch told us they are aware of Falls. As information becomes available, they will review their open cases to see if there are any possibilities that he was in the Lexington area during that time of those cases. We'll have more on the investigation on WKYT News coming up at 5 o'clock. Lexington Church is collecting donations to ship to eastern Kentucky for flood victims. A group of volunteers from the Consolidated Baptist Church asking for items for victims of flooding in Johnson County. They say the items of greatest need are school supplies and baby supplies. The group plans to be outside Walmart on New Circle Road through Wednesday night. After that, donations can then be taken directly to the church, which is on nearby Russell Cave Road. You will hear from volunteers on their efforts coming up on WKYT News at 6 o'clock. And a group is returning to the scene of a crash this afternoon to look for a missing dog. The dog was in an SUV rear-ended by a church bus on Interstate 64 in Franklin County yesterday morning. The dog went missing sometime after the crash. In all, 15 people were injured, including a woman in the SUV. We'll have an update on the search for the dog coming up on WKYT News at 5:30. That's a look at some of the news in progress. Jennifer, back to you.
Thank you, Sam. Now to stories making headlines across the nation at 4. In California, the search for a missing 8-year-old girl ends in tragedy. Authorities confirm a body found in a trash bin last night is Madison Middleton. She disappeared Sunday from her housing complex in Santa Cruz. A 15-year-old boy who also lives in the complex was arrested on suspicion of murder. Police say the boy lured Madison to his apartment where he killed her. One of Donald Trump's top advisors is in trouble over comments he made about marital rape. He was talking to a Daily Beast reporter who was writing a story about a decades-old rape allegation in Trump's divorce from his first wife, Ivana. Stacey Cohen reports.
It all started with a story for the Daily Beast. Reporter Tim Mack questioned Trump advisor Michael Cohen about a rape allegation made by the billionaire's ex-wife during their divorce proceedings in the early 1990s. In defending Trump, Cohen was quoted as saying, "You cannot rape your spouse," and threatened to sue. Marital rape is illegal in all 50 states, as it was in New York in 1989 at the time of the alleged incident.
They were trying to say that the allegation was not made in a criminal sense like you mentioned, but then it descended into insults and threats, threats of lawsuits, telling me to tread lightly and to say that whatever lawsuits that they might file against me would be disgusting.
Cohen is apologizing, saying he was simply outraged by the nature of the story. Quote, "In my moment of shock, I made an inarticulate comment which I do not believe and which I apologize for entirely." Back in the 1990s, Trump's ex-wife Ivana addressed the incident, saying while she used the word rape, she did not want it to be interpreted in a literal or criminal sense. Now she has issued a statement supporting the man she once famously called the Donald, saying, quote, "I have recently read some comments attributed to me from nearly 30 years ago at a time of very high tension during my divorce from Donald. The story is totally without merit." I'm Stacey Cohen reporting.
The Trump campaign says Mr. Trump speaks for Mr. Trump and nobody but Mr. Trump speaks for him. In addition to serving as a top Trump advisor, Michael Cohen is also an executive vice president at the Trump Organization. The NFL has upheld Tom Brady's suspension for Deflategate. The New England Patriots star quarterback will sit out the first 4 games of the season for his role in using underinflated footballs during the AFC Championship game last season. Brady and the Patriots have denied knowingly using deflated footballs in the win over Indianapolis. The NFL also fined the team $1 million and took away 2 draft picks.